Today we're going to be looking at Genesis chapter 47. This chapter begins with Jacob and his family coming to Egypt and settling in the area of Goshen. And Joseph goes to Pharaoh and says, "My father and my brothers with their flocks and herds and all that they possess have come from the land of Canaan. They are now in the land of Goshen." And he brings from his brothers five and present them to Pharaoh. And then a little later he presents his own father Jacob before Pharaoh. And Jacob blesses Pharaoh. And then beginning in verse 13, we continue to see the wisdom of Joseph at work. He accumulates great wealth for Pharaoh because the famine is continuing to just ravish the land of Egypt and the surrounding areas. Canaan is suffering greatly, and Egypt is the only place with food. And so everybody is bringing all the money that they can to get food for themselves, but eventually the money runs out, and they come and they tell Joseph, "We don't have any more money." And in that point, Joseph says, "Well, I'll take your land, and then you can have grain." And so Pharaoh accumulates great money and great land from all of this. And then as the chapter ends, verse 29 says, "When the time drew near that Israel must die, he called his son Joseph and said to him, 'If now I have found favor in your sight, put your hand under my thigh and promise to deal kindly and truly with me. Do not bury me in Egypt, but let me lie with my fathers. Carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burying place.' He answered, 'I will do as you have said.'" What do you guys see here?
I want to focus on the influence that Joseph had with Pharaoh, and because of that, Pharaoh was showing kindness and blessing Joseph's family. In particular, you find verses 1 through 12, the whole story of Joseph's family comes before Pharaoh, and Pharaoh deals very gently with them. Verse 11, Joseph settled his father and his brothers and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramesses, as Pharaoh had commanded. Pharaoh did this because of Joseph. And I think there's a wonderful lesson there for us that when we act in a godly way toward other people and we live in a godly way and other people see that, we can influence other people. And we can influence other people to do things that are good that maybe they wouldn't have done otherwise. Maybe your boss, maybe a coworker, maybe a best friend. Never underestimate or belittle what it means when you do good things and live the way you're supposed to live. Never underestimate the rippling effects that can have in the lives of other people. I think there's a wonderful example here for us.
Amen. I want to look at verse 9. I think it's a wonderful way to describe your life. When Jacob was speaking with Pharaoh, he described his life as the days of his sojourning. Now, what he meant by that in relation to his own life, I'm not sure, but it is such a wonderful way to look at your life, to look at yourself as a sojourner here, as someone who's always traveling about, waiting to go to your permanent place of residence. We think about the Apostle Peter's words, we're alien and strangers, or aliens and pilgrims. But I was thinking specifically of Hebrews chapter 11. It says, when describing the faithful, all these died in faith without receiving the promises, but having seen them and having welcomed them from a distance, and having confessed that they were strangers and exiles on the earth. For those who say such things, make it clear they're seeking a country of their own. May we look at our lives as our days of sojourning, waiting so we can be at home with God.
Amen. Well, two great lessons. We hope these help you in your lives. If you have any thoughts on this chapter, go ahead and jot those down in the comments below. We'd love to see what you have to say on this chapter. We hope you all have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow. God bless.